Hey guys, welcome back. 34 Slammer, she's finished, boys and girls. I really enjoyed that build. It was a heck of a lot of fun. There are about 3 or 4 in this series of these modifieds. If this one or if the other ones turn out as good as this one does, I'd recommend the series. It was a lot of fun. Came together really good. Didn't have any issues with the build. We got our mods done to the motor and the chassis. Coil-over shocks and springs that we made up for it. And our goodies from off the sprue that we dressed it up with. It actually went together really good. And didn't really have any fit issues at all with this kit. Which is kind of surprising for MPC, but I'm not a big MPC fan, but we gave it a go and it turned out alright. Color, it's a candy red enamel that we used from Alclad, and what we did was, rather than use their silver candy base, which you can do, you get almost the same effect, is that we use the Alclad Pale Gold, and it's their number ALC 108 as a base coat. And they do recommend that you use a primer with the Pale Gold. The Alclad Silver Candy base, they recommend that you paint it over bare plastic with no primer. So what we did was we primed it first, and then we sprayed it with the Alclad Pale Gold. And I was going to paint the wheels same color as the body color, but once I laid down the Pale Gold as a base color, I kind of liked the gold look, so we just left the wheels gold as the base color. And the top color is Alclad's Candy Red Enamel, and it's number ALC 702. With their candies, you want to make sure you lay down really thin coats, because you don't have to thin their Pale Gold 108 or the candy colors. You spray them right out of the jar. But the secret is doing thin coats with it. Don't lay it on too thick, or it'll be running all over the freaking place on you. So paint job turned out pretty good. We'll give you a spin around, give you a look, and then we'll get into some details. All right, well, let's get you up. Hold on. Going up. Coming down. Going down, down. All right. Get the hood off this baby. Show you what we did. Can we zoom you in? Probably can't. Let's try this. Good new camera. Still figuring stuff out. There we go. So a motor fits in there perfect. Got the headers all painted up. Got the distributor in there. Distributor, the new resin one. I'm actually printing some in the background while we're doing this video, and hope to have those up on the site in a week or two. Give me a little different what you see here. I've done some modifications to it. But hope to have those up on the site in the next week or two, guys. We're running through some test prints in the background now. Got an air cleaner on there. Got a ignition coil, distributor, oil breathers on the valve cover, fuel filter, pulley set. All we machine and sell at Office Brew, of course. And yeah, it dressed up pretty nice. Got the distributor wired up to an MSD box on the firewall. Fuel filters plumbed from the carb down to the fuel pump. Got our hose clamps on our upper and lower rad hoses. Master cylinders mounted on the firewall. Use some real fine solder to plumb that and run the lines down to the chassis. Coil-over shocks front and rear. Used my machined aluminum coil-over spring seats and wound some wire around a screw to make the coils on it. Just painted those yellow just to get some kind of contrast with the rest of the model. Alternator we got detailed up. I just used some, what was that? That was the Tamiya clear orange that I used just to highlight the copper windings in the alternator. Pretty simple detail job you can do on a model. Just takes a few seconds. Return spring. Used the same real fine solder that I used for the brake lines. Made the little loop in the brake lines. I wound it around a straight pin. And same as the return spring on the carburetor, I just used the fine solder, wound it around the pin. Excuse me. And yeah, got a little return spring on there. Batteries wired up and plumbed. Alternator runs back to the firewall, to what we'll call that box on the firewall, a regulator. Got it deckled up. Decals were a bit of a pain in the butt, especially the one on the rear deck lid. The top one and the side ones were pretty simple. Not much of a decal guy. You won't see too many of my builds that got decals on them. But can't have a race car without some numbers and decals on it. And we just kept the decals pretty simple. We didn't add any sponsoring like Goodyear or STP or Pennzoil or any of that kind of stuff on it. This guy's just sponsored his own race car out of his own pocket, so he saved all his money and spent it on the paint job. But yeah, it was a fun build, guys. Zoom back out. Oh my God, come on. Get used to this camera. Going back down. Yeah, it was a good build. I really enjoyed it. If you guys haven't tried one of these kits, you should give it a whirl. Now, the next issue is, what are we going to do for our next build? I've been thinking a little bit about that. And like most guys that build models, they got a couple in mind. So we'll make our choice here in the new week. And we'll get you guys up to speed on what that's going to be. Alright guys, as usual, thanks for stopping by, and we'll get you up to speed on what that new build is going to be. If you haven't tried one of these kits, give it a whirl. You'll enjoy it, as I did. Alright guys, that's it for now. We'll catch you soon. See ya.